Hey brain teasers, tea boxers, and mentees. Welcome back to another Flavorful Friday. I want to encourage you to grab your cups because we've got some serious tea to spill today. From the wild side of the internet to some jaw-dropping headlines. This week's flavors have been locked and loaded and they're ready to go. You know how it is. Nothing stays a secret for long, and we're here to dish out all the juicy details. But before we dive into the fun, I'd like to give a quick shout out to all our new subscribers. If you're here for the first time, welcome to the tea party. I promise by the end you'll be hooked on all the flavor. Now, without further ado, let's get into the recap of this week's wildest moments, scandals, and more. Ready to spill some tea? Let's get into it.
Welcome to Who's Tea TV.
Whose tea is it really?
Is it mine?
Is it yours?
Is it theirs?
Or is it ours as a collective?
Whose tea is it really?
Here's your channel host, Miss T.
The Great Longshoremen and Women Strike of 2024. Bananas and beyond. The recent 24-hour longshoremen strike at 36 major U.S. ports sparked a brief but intense moment of chaos, primarily over bananas, B-A-N-A-N-A-S. While the strike was short-lived, it offers a huge snapshot of how fragile our supply chains can be. But beneath the humorous panic about bananas lies a much deeper issue: automation, wage inequalities, and the future of human labor altogether. So let's talk about the banana panic for a second here. For a few hours, bananas seemed to be more important than oil. The nation briefly descended into a Twitter-fueled hysteria over the potential of empty grocery shelves. Memes about hoarding bananas and toilet paper flooded social media as people joked about another supply chain apocalypse, right? But behind the humor lies a more serious question. What if the strike had lasted longer? And even more importantly, could these labor disputes signal a future where robots just start taking over? What happens, or what would happen, if longshoremen stayed off the job for a longer period? Here's the deal, guys. The economy could shut down. The longshoremen and women who work at these ports handle a vast majority of goods that enter and leave the country. These workers are essential for keeping the economy running smoothly. Now, here's what happens, or here's what would happen if they stayed off the job for an extended period. Immediate supply chain disruptions. Immediate. Ports are crucial points in the global supply chain. They don't just handle our food, they handle electronics, raw materials, and other consumer items. A prolonged strike would halt imports and exports, leading to shortages of goods in stores. Now, I'm talking about essential items like fresh produce, which I need for juicing daily. I'm talking medical supplies. I'm talking fuel. All of that would be scarce. So factories reliant on overseas materials will have to stop production as well. Price increases across the board. With the supply of goods shrinking, prices would go like this and expand. All the products would skyrocket. This isn't limited to luxury items. I'm talking about everyday necessities. Your food, your clothing, your gas would become significantly more expensive. Businesses that rely on imported goods, such as electronic retailers or auto manufacturers, would be forced to raise their prices due to those supply shortages, and that would cause for shipping costs to increase. Now, let's not forget about the job losses. Job losses in dependent industries would be an entire devastation. These industries, from manufacturing to retail, depend on smooth and predictable flow of goods. That's how they keep their bread and butter, their business. A docker strike would disrupt their operations, leading to potential layoffs as businesses scramble to deal with the lack of supplies. Additionally, let's talk about our truckers, our warehouse workers, and other logistics personnel. They would face reduced workloads, which further amplifies the economic downturn, right? Inflation and economic recession. A prolonged strike can definitely lead to inflation as product demand outpaces the supply. Prices would rise and consumers will feel the pinch. If we already aren't feeling it, we would definitely feel it then. This, coupled with widespread job losses, could trigger a recession. Even industries not directly tied to imports and exports would suffer due to that ripple effect. People who can't afford everyday goods cut back on non-essential spending, further hurting businesses. Small businesses as well, like mine. National security concerns, right? So the ports are critical, not only for economic reasons, but also for our security, our national security. Goods like fuel, military supplies, and food reserves are transported through those ports. If they are shut down for too long, it could pose a huge security risk, limiting our nation's ability to respond to different emergencies or natural disasters. So, here's some real talk. Automation and job security. The strike may have been brief, but it raised a real concern about workers' rights in automation. The port workers who went on strike are not just fighting for better wages. They're fighting against the fear that their jobs will be replaced with automation. Here are key concerns. Automation is on the horizon. If you aren't aware, get yourself packed with knowledge. Ports worldwide increasingly turn to automation. They're using robots to load and unload containers, sort the goods, and even to manage the inventories. While this improves efficiency and reduces costs, it threatens the livelihoods of the workers who rely on those jobs. The fear is not just about losing the job, but about losing a good paying, union protected job that supports their entire families. So let's talk about the wage inequality and the workers' rights. Beyond that automation, the strike highlights ongoing struggles over wage inequality. While corporate profits in industries like shipping have soared phenomenally, many workers are still fighting for that fair pay. Longshore workers often face harsh conditions. They work extremely long hours in dangerous environments. Their demand for better wages and working conditions resonates with workers across America and other industries. The larger automation debate. So, the concerns raised by the dockers extend far beyond the ports. I hope you do realize that. It's across sectors. Workers fear that their jobs will be replaced by machines or AI, leaving them without skills or training to compete with all the tech-driven economy stuff. So today, it might be the dock workers fighting for automation, but tomorrow it could be our factory workers, our delivery drivers, or even retail employees. I want to know your take. I want to know what your take is about the future of work and automation, and what's your overall take on all of this? Are you worried about the potential of automation replacing human jobs? Whether it's in the shipping industry, retail, or even tech, automation's just creeping up on us into every single corner of our workspace and personal space. My question is, should automation be embraced for its efficiency, or are we just sacrificing too many jobs in the process? Let me know how you feel about the future of your job. Is your job safe from automation? Second flavor, Amazon's prime time surge. Shopping FOMO at its finest. It's Amazon's big deal days, and with it comes FOMO, the fear of missing out. FOMO is the anxiety you feel when you think others are enjoying these experiences or snagging those deals that you are not even getting into. Events like these make FOMO work overtime. It's driving people to make impulsive purchases because they fear missing out on that once-in-a-lifetime bargain, right? And let's just say I may be one of those people. The shopping FOMO is like, I don't know if you can picture this, but try to picture this. You're scrolling through Prime Day deals, and suddenly your cart is overflowing with items you didn't even know you needed. Like maybe that discounted blender, or maybe an inflatable dinosaur for your nephew, and that llama-shaped lamp that people often have in their houses. Is strange, right? But why? Why? Because the idea of you receiving 40% off feels like just an unbeatable opportunity. That is, my friends, FOMO in action. It's compelling you to buy things simply because you're afraid someone else will snatch them up first. So this is where I give you a chance. It's your turn to share your impulse buys with me down in the comments below. I want to know, what's the wildest thing you've ever bought because of FOMO? We want to hear your funniest impulse purchases. The most entertaining submission will win a bar of Miss T's handmade soap. Because honestly, who doesn't need more soap? Diddy or Kelly and the question of accountability. Okay? So let's talk about it. Accountability in high-profile criminal cases is a complex but necessary conversation. So this segment will dive into the complexities of how we hold people accountable, not just the perpetrators that commit the crimes, but also those people that enable them and their actions. Okay? Now, bear with me here. Let's begin by setting a more serious tone, because I know that I've been trying to be a little witty and humorous. So, accountability, especially in these cases, involve figures like Diddy and Robert Kelly, and they require sensitivity and empathy. These are not just stories about celebrities, but about real victims and survivors who often are left to cope with the incomplete justice, right? This discussion isn't about making judgments from a distance, but about understanding how silence and the power dynamics work in these high-profile cases. So let's create a space for thoughtful reflection free of blame, and filled with a desire for change. So my question is, why do enablers often escape punishment? This is where the conversation gets more profound. We need to hold accountable not just the person who commits a crime, but also those who helped, ignored, or enabled the crime to happen. Why do they so often escape punishment? I couldn't figure it out until I read that there are legal loopholes. There's laws that often focus on the main perpetrator. Leaving those out who help them is like a gray area. They can evade legal consequences unless there's clear evidence that someone directly facilitated or covered up that A. Now let's get into the lack of evidence. Gathering concrete proof of enabling is tricky, especially when we're dealing with influential individuals. These enablers can use their resources and influence to hide their involvement, like shift the blame. Now, cultural and industry norms, there's a persuasive culture of silence in industries like the entertainment industry. People might fear for their careers or fear that they'll face retaliation if they speak out. Now, this protection of the powerful creates an environment where these enablers thrive without the consequence, right? And then the power dynamics. Enablers often hold significant sway within organizations, making it harder for others to challenge their role in these abuses. Fear of losing jobs or reputations keeps people from acting against them. The question to you guys is, how do you think industries could better hold enablers accountable? I want you to comment below your thoughts or any questions that you have. Let's explore how to address this systemic issue. Why does justice feel so incomplete for so many survivors? Justice doesn't always feel complete. Even when someone is convicted. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. But many of these survivors feel like the system hasn't done enough. But why? Lengthy legal processes? These cases can drag on for years, forcing survivors to relive their trauma over and over. The emotional toll can be so overwhelming, and justice delayed often feels like justice denied. Settlements over trials. Many cases end out of court. Out of court settlements where the perpetrator avoids a public trial. While settlements might provide financial compensation, they can only leave survivors feeling like the accused never truly faced justice. Now let's talk about public perception and media bias. This is big. Media coverage often focuses more on the celebrity status of the accused rather than the crime itself, which I'm seeing play out daily here. Now, this can shift the narrative away from the survivor's experience, making them feel like their story is being minimized or doubted. Continued success of accused individuals. Many perpetrators continue to have successful careers even after accusations or convictions. For survivors, seeing their abusers thrive is so painful. It's such a painful reminder that the justice system didn't fully address their suffering. Now, I'm going to share something with you a little personal. I'm not going to say no names. I'm not saying which side, none of that. I just want this to be a real clear reminder that there are lots of families and people that have experienced being a survivor despite winning that legal case or despite the justice not being completed. This journey highlights the emotional aftermath of public and private battles for accountability. It's important to remember that this isn't just about legal victories, right? It's about healing and restoring one's dignity. Survivors often need ongoing support, and that's where we can all contribute to driving change. Do industries do enough to protect people from A? Let's examine how these industries, especially the entertainment industry, handle accountability. Not always. Historically, industries like the entertainment industry have struggled to implement strong protections against A. Whether it's actual or harassment or power imbalances, they've been allowed to persist because speaking up can jeopardize somebody's career, which is totally insane. Now, some progress came with movements like Me Too, how they've pushed industries to reassess their practices. We have seen more awareness and actions against A users, but the progress is slow and inconsistent. There's still much to be done, especially in enforcing consequences for enablers. Now let's talk about the financial and the PR considerations. These high-profile figures often generate significant revenue for their companies. This can lead to organizations disregarding the A behavior, prioritizing their profit and the public image over the addressing misconduct. So let's take away something here. Accountability and the path forward. Accountability is so complex, guys, and it's often frustrating, especially when dealing with these high-profile figures. Legal frameworks and industry practices have historically protected these enablers, leaving survivors feeling like justice is incomplete. I cannot say that enough. Justice has been incomplete for so many. But here's what I want you to really take away. The system has flaws. It is flawed, but that doesn't mean change is not possible. It's essential to keep these conversations going. It's important to demand better protections, and it's time to hold everyone accountable, both the perpetrators and the enablers. Accountability matters. Progress is happening, but it's up to all of us to push for more, okay? If you need help or know someone that does, consider supporting advocacy groups or survivors by amplifying their voices and sharing their stories. Small actions can lead to more significant change. So Meta AI was trending this week due to the launch of its new AI tool called MovieGen. Did you hear about this? This generative AI tool allows users to create 16-second videos with sound, animation, and it's based on simple text prompts. It can also edit existing videos by adding, removing, or changing elements within the video using just a text command. The idea is to offer creators, influencers, and filmmakers advanced AI tools to enhance creativity. This is a game changer. However, Meta is still working on refining it before releasing it widely to the public. They do not want any misuse to occur. This development caught much attention, mainly because it's positioned as a rival tool from other major players like OpenAI. The ability to create videos and manipulate them with ease has sparked major discussions in the YouTube streets about both the creative potentials and the ethical risk involved. Hence, which gave Miss T an idea. I'll be doing a video soon on how to make money using Meta's AI. I will give you a step-by-step guide, so you guys stay tuned. I'll upload it tomorrow, which is Saturday, October the 5th. We'll explore how to use AI for side hustles or even generate passive income. You won't want to miss out on that. Until next time, guys, keep on sipping.
Thanks for watching Boosty TV. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We like to know your thoughts on today's flavors.
Who's Tea TV, where we sip and spill all the latest flavors of life, news, and everything in between. Until next time, keep on sipping.